Welcome, everyone, to our Thriving Thursday call. My name is Sherry Packard, and I've been a council member with the Million Mile Movement for a little over a year and a half now. Today, I'm joined by my fellow council members, Naiva Flory and Dominique Jeffries. So, the work of the Million Mile Movement appealed to me on two very special levels. So, first, as a mom of three and now a grandma of two, my boys are elite hockey players. My oldest son has type 1 diabetes. And one of the most important things that I've always wanted for them is to grow up with us with a healthy foundation, a sense of feeling empowered in their health, knowing how to support their bodies and understand how to read labels and to really be conscious consumers. And then the second way is as a holistic nutrition and health coach. So I have a lot of experience in family and kid nutrition. And now, since my son's diagnosis with type 1, I also specialize in autoimmune conditions and gut health. Um, and I got into this profession to really educate on healthier living and create awareness and ultimately empower people in their health. And these are all the things I just mentioned, both as a mom and a health coach, are all the things that the Million Mom Movement strives to do within the council, but also as a community here altogether. So as a health coach, today's topic is one that I'm extremely familiar with because I'm always recommending seasonal detoxes to address modern toxic overloads from processed foods and chemicals, and to address processed foods and chemicals, water, because our water is not clean, as we know, and products, and of course, technology. So these are all areas that really start to bombard the body with toxins, and so we need to help the body out. The body can theoretically cleanse itself given the right environment, and that's key. And that's the most important thing that we have to understand. And it's often the biggest pushback I get as a health coach when I recommend a detoxification or a cleanse program is I get this question so regularly: do we really need a, to cleanse, right? And as I'm getting into this, I'm realizing that we didn't read our pledge. Here I am talking about the Million Mile Movement and why it's so important, and I jumped right into the topic. Sorry about that. So we're going to pause, and I'm going to ask Kristen if she can unmute since she has very kindly volunteered to read the pledge today. Got ahead of myself.
Thank you. I pledge to defend the health of myself and my family. I pledge to choose organic foods that are minimally processed and free of man-made ingredients. I pledge to read labels and educate myself on all aspects of clean living. I understand that my actions today will positively impact the health and environment of future generations. I am committed to sharing this movement of many. I am the Million Mom Movement. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristen, for reading. And if I can put you on the spot for just an extra minute and ask you what that pledge means to you.
So much. It is, it is everything. When we get clean and we detoxify our homes, our bodies,
Mm.
we're able to think clearer and make better decisions for our families and for ourselves. And I think that it just is huge all on its own.
It absolutely is. And so in line with our topic today that I, jumped too quickly into before. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So yes, exactly that. So on the topic of detoxifying and why it's so important, and can the body do it on its own? Theoretically, yes, the body can cleanse itself given the right environment. And what that means is that if your body is overloaded with toxins, then it can't properly communicate within itself, right? And the body is all interconnected and needs to send messages and works together. And for most of us, I say most of us, our bodies are not in that the right type of environment in order to self-cleanse. And so the body needs our help. And we get to support the body in cleansing, just like we bring our cars in for oil changes, just like we charge our phones and update them every so often. We need to think about doing that same type of idea. We need to apply it to our bodies, and we need to prioritize cleansing our bodies over the other things that I mentioned, perhaps the things in our lives, because it's truly our bodies that are going to support us throughout our life, throughout our day to day, throughout those routines and those checklists, right, of things to do. And so it's extremely important that we focus on helping to support the body in a detoxifying process, in its detoxifying process. So um, anytime or almost any time is a good time to cleanse. But I would argue that springtime is the absolute best time to cleanse. And there's many reasons for that. There's traditional wisdom like Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, and even modern medicine agrees now that spring is an ideal time for resetting. When we think of spring, we tend to think of lightness and new energy, and it's also a time of year that actually supports on another energetic level the liver and the gallbladder. And the liver is so important in terms of the detoxifying process, right? It has such a big job to play, a role to play. So after the long winter months of heavier foods, we spend more time indoors. The body is really primed for a refresh. So I just want everyone put a one in the comments if you're coming out of this winter season feeling sluggish, lacking energy, perhaps feeling like your skin is dull. You're looking for that reset. You need a renewal of energy. I think it's pretty much all of us. I mean, I know I could put a couple of ones for myself even. Yeah, pretty much everyone, I would think. Absolutely. So there's many benefits, as we just discussed, many benefits of cleansing, why it's so important. There's many benefits to cleansing as a family. Yes, you can include your children in this. There's so many age appropriate ways to get our kids involved in cleansing, and it's such a fantastic way to create that habit for them. Um, we also get, when we do it as a family, there's the shared motivation, there's the emotional support and modeling and strengthening, as I originally said, good healthy habits for kids. And that is so, I cannot stress that enough, because kids tend to do what we do, not what we say, right? So a perfect way to get them involved and get them connecting to their bodies at such an early age, which is actually the earlier you start these types of processes with them, the easier it's actually going to be, because they're at an age where they're still more connected to their bodies. They're born very connected, right? They cry when they're hungry. They cry when something's hurting them. They don't push it off. They don't stuff it down. And so they're still so connected to their bodies that it's really the time to cultivate that. That being said, if you're starting with kids who are older, it's still possible, and there's so many ways to do it, and we're going to discuss some of those. So how can we begin to detox as a family during the season? Well, the first place I would suggest to start a spring a spring cleanse as a family would be in the kitchen. So with nourishing foods that help the natural detoxification process, and of course, focusing on gut repair, because we know how important the gut is in terms of every other functioning of the body. So the very first thing that I think of when I think of how to nourish the body during the cleanse, how to nourish and support the body through a cleanse, is of course Purium. Purium superfoods are so important and have been so impactful that I chose to put it at the very top of the list in terms of foods, because we know our superfoods are not supplements, they are food, right? They're the highest quality raw organic food available. And so, of course, they would be a fantastic option for a cleanse. We know that the ultimate lifestyle transformation is the best place to start. Gives your body a metabolic reset. It focuses on detoxifying and repairing the gut microbiome, then nourishing the gut, all while flooding your body and your cells with cellular nutrition. Nutrient dense cellular nutrition, which is so important. And we know that our kids can do pretty much all of this cleanse with us. You know, they can have the Biomedic, they can have the Power Shake. I know that some people use the Super Cleanser with their children. I have not. But there's other ways to focus on helping the body in terms of the parasites, which is what the super cleanser is. And we can't really do a fully effective cleanse without taking into account and focusing on parasites, which is often overlooked or they're seen as two separate things. But really, when you are cleansing your body, you're trying to get it back to that like that original state where it can really function and communicate within itself. You can't just focus on one aspect of cleansing without focusing on every aspect. And this is why we're going to talk about not just why parasites is an important aspect of a cleanse, but even your outside of your food, outside of your body itself, your lifestyle, why that's so important and why that also plays into cleansing and the benefits for our health. So, in terms of a parasite cleanse, there's some foods that you can add in for kids that are really safe, gentle, and effective. Um, Things like pumpkin seeds and papaya and the papaya seeds themselves, carrots, garlic, coconut, pomegranate. These are some of the foods that you can start just incorporating during the spring for kids on a daily basis that are going to help and be very effective towards parasites. If you choose not to use a super cleanser, which again is a personal, it's a personal option. For adults, I always recommend the super cleanser. It's part of the ultimate lifestyle transformation for a reason, and it should be utilized at the end when you've already done so much of the work within the body, and the body can really effectively use it to really target those parasites. Then we want to really focus on the liver. So aside from our superfoods, the foods that we can start to add in on a daily basis that can help support the cleansing process are going to be liver supporting herbs and veggies like dandelion, cilantro, parsley, and beets. Those are some of and a lot of these you're going to see that they become more available in the springtime, and that's not a coincidence, right? If you think about it, our bodies mirror nature. And so when our bodies are ready for those fresh foods that are going to help renew our energy and how our body is really feeling, we're going to be craving and looking for the foods that are actually the closest to nature foods, are going to be the ones that are actually going to help do that. They're the nutrients that our body is looking for in this season. So always buying in-season fruits and vegetables is a great side tip that I'll elaborate on a bit more in a little bit, but um, think seasonal veggies and seasonal fruits, and those are already going to help support that process for you. Hydrating fruits and antioxidant rich foods are going to be other ones that you're going to want to incorporate more of in the spring for both you and your entire family. Things like cucumbers and berries and oranges all have great high levels of antioxidants, vitamin C, and very, very hydrating. We want to be flushing the body, and so we want to be hydrating the body as much as possible. Then there's the fiber-rich foods that we want to make sure that we're incorporating it as well, because we want to be ensuring that we are going regularly, that we are eliminating regularly, because that's a big part of a cleanse. Oftentimes, what I see in clients is that they'll come to me after they've tried these cleanses that they've, I don't know, ordered or read about online and then went out and bought the ingredients. But oftentimes what happens is that they're doing the work to sort of loosen the toxins within the body, but then they're not having the right amount of hydration and they're not having the right amount of fiber. And so it's staying stagnant within the body and they're actually feeling worse instead of better. And so it's really, really important that with all of these different cleansing practices, that we ensure that we're also helping support the body in eliminating them, not just loosening them, but we want them out, right? So fiber-rich veggies like broccoli and cabbage, zucchini. I mean, there's so many options. Dark leafy greens are always a good one as well. And then there's other daily add-ins that I always suggest, like lemon water. So when you are drinking your water, add some lemon to it. Chia seeds are extremely effective in helping the body to eliminate toxins, to bind and just kind of help get out what doesn't belong. Chlorella, spirulina, nettle tea is another great one. And it's easy to just kind of sip on these teas like that. You can even add lemon. You can multitask because let's face it, we're busy, right? So you make yourself some nettle tea in the morning, brew it, put it into a nice container if you're on the go, and add some lemon to it. You're already doing, a couple of those in one step, and you can sip on it throughout the day. So it's about also making it easy because the harder it is, we're not going to do it. And so it's really picking and choosing which one of these, which one of these practices or ideas you guys can fit into your own family lifestyles and schedules. So aside from what we put into our bodies, I also want to talk about our lifestyle because I am a holistic nutrition and health coach, and that means that I focus on the mind, body, and soul. So that means it's not just what we're eating, but it's also who we spend our time with, what we're listening to, our environment. All of these things play such an important role. We also have to remember that what we put onto our body, we absorb into our body. So, it's also about eliminating the toxins where we can. So think about, you know, maybe spring is a good time to kind of take stock of your beauty products. What's in them? Is there a really long list of ingredients? Can you pronounce any of them? Maybe it's time to start swapping out some of those at the same time because we are also absorbing chemicals through our skin. In terms of lifestyle shifts, of course, when we're talking about cleansing the body, we think of releasing stagnation, right? Well, we get to do the same in our environment. So decluttering really helps to release stagnation within our home environments. And our home environments affect not just our mood, but our overall physical health as well, our energy, on an energetic vibrational level. It's affecting us on a day-to-day basis. So I always say that your home should really be your sanctuary. It should be that place where you look forward to, if you work out of the home, then at the end of the day, you look forward to coming home. If you walk into your home and the first reaction you have is, then that's amazing. It's not just giving you that peace of mind, but it's actually having a calming effect on your entire body. You can actually literally measure it, how it reduces your stress level. Your stress level actually drops if you're walking into an environment that you love, that really feels, peaceful and calm and clean and pure. So if you can't have an entire home that's like that, that's okay. Have one room, right? So focus on at least one room in your home where you walk in there and you instantly, your stress levels instantly drop. So during the spring months, a lot of people talk about spring cleaning, right? So I'm talking about spring cleaning, but more on the decluttering and again releasing that stagnation in the air. So I would suggest that you go room by room and start, looking at each room um, on each level. So are there clothes in that room that you don't wear that you can give away? Are there toys or books that you haven't used in over a year? You start there. The clutter, right? Anything that can be put away, put into a drawer, put into a basket, put into a closet. Um, Open the windows. That's one of the biggest tips for spring, and it's super simple but so very effective. We don't recognize or really realize what we're breathing in all winter long. Most of us keep our windows closed. I know I do. My windows are closed most of the winter. Although on more mild nights, I do tend to open up a window for that very reason. But in general, we have been indoors, we have been closed in throughout the winter. It is so important that we air everything out. So open up the windows, get the air circulating, negative air, as well as like air that's full of toxins and dust and particles and all of that out, fresh air in, right? Swap out your chemical cleaners in the house. So that's another one. Take note of what are you cleaning with? What are you freshening your home in terms of what kinds of fragrances are you using? In the winter months, oftentimes we'll use more candles. What kind of candles were you using? Were they clean burning? Were they made from soy, essential oils, or were they more chemical fragrances? Either or, it's not time to like look back and say, oh, I didn't even think of that. I shouldn't have used those. No, it's fine. It's okay, right? We don't know what we don't know when we don't know it. But moving forward, there's so much you can do to cleanse that air, to get those chemicals out. And so now is the perfect time to do that. So windows open, decluttering, take one room at a time. I know it can be a daunting task, but I'm telling you, there's like, it's such a good feeling when you really focus in on one room. And every time you walk by that one room after, you're like, it's just that satisfaction. And then like any other good habit that you feel good about, or any health habit that you shift and you start seeing results, it makes you feel so good that you want to do more of it. And so getting just one room done will most likely inspire you and energize you to do the next one and the next one and the next one. Um, I just want to talk about in chemical cleaners in the home and fragrances. One of the biggest culprits is the laundry detergent, and that's so important because I mean we wear clothes every single day, right? And so things like fabric softeners, those fabric sheets are actually, and the softeners are actually the worst in terms of amounts of chemicals. And so those would be the ones if you were looking to start slowly and shifting slowly. Um, I would start with the fabric sheets and fabric softeners, and then go to detergent. There's a lot of good options out there. There's a couple of websites too. I see Naiva. I think you just put one in the chat, and there's one or two others. As maybe we'll put them with the replay. But there are a couple of websites where you can get some great suggestions. Some of that have been tested, and you can see which ones have more or less. And there's also, if you're if you're inspired to do so, I have not yet been inspired to try this, but there's recipes to make your own laundry detergents. I haven't ventured into that just yet. I do make my own, just like simple all-purpose cleaner. I use water, like equal parts water, white vinegar, and then I put in some essential oil, whichever oil lemon is great because it's can't think of the word. Not an anti-inflammatory, oh boy, viral. There's any of the citrus ones would be great. And then depending on which company for essential oils that you use, they have some more specific ones that are actually for like disinfecting and things like that, cleaning the air. And so you can start using those. Essential oils, by the way, is one of my favorite ways to cleanse my home and just help just create that really calm and beautiful feeling. They smell so good and they're so useful. Like there's so many uses for them, especially if you're going to venture into making your own household cleaning products. They're really great for that as well. Then within lifestyle, I'm going to shift from the home to grounding. So this is more for your body specifically, so important. Barefoot grounding in soil or grass. It helps to neutralize inflammation. It helps to reset your nervous system. I do this as soon as the weather gets nice on a daily basis. I work from home in my home office in the basement. I have very little natural sunlight that comes in there. I'm in front of a screen for a lot of the day. And so any break that I have in between clients or in between meetings or speaking engagements, you can find me outside in my backyard, socks off, grounding, just walking around while I take a break, while I'm drinking my power shake, whatever it is. And it's so effective. It's so important. There are days where I feel just so stressed from having been in front of the screens for so long. And the minute I step out there, I just feel my whole body relax. So it's a really important and great addition to any cleansing, but also just all around daily habit as often as you can do it. And then there's also, along with that, is early morning sun. So if this is not a practice that you've started yet, springtime is a perfect time to step into that one as well. It has so many benefits. It helps to balance hormones. It helps to balance your circadian rhythm. It helps to calm your mood. It's great for your eye health, skin health. It helps to boost and strengthen your immune system, helps to rev up your metabolism. I mean, it's just incredible. And I'm talking early morning sunlight. So as early as you can get out there in the morning and preferably within 30 minutes of waking up. So those are the times those are the times where it's going to be the most effective. And if you can be out there for at least 10 minutes, if 10 minutes is all you can do, then that's already great. Same for the grounding barefoot, by the way, a minimum of 10 minutes. is so beneficial for just your overall health and how to support the cleansing process. And these are things that your kids can do with you, right? Your kids can get outside with you first thing in the morning. I know my kids, most of the time, young kids, it's hard to get socks and shoes on them. So, let them run barefoot outside in the grass or soil, or if you live by a beach, like I know Naiva does, even better, let them run in the sand, the water. Oh my goodness, it's so beneficial for them. And teaching them perhaps to sit outside first thing in the morning with you for some calm and quiet is a really great morning practice to start showing them. So many of us, I mean, I know that my teens, um, it's hard to get them to slow down first thing in the morning. They jump up, they come downstairs, they reach for their phones. They're just one wants to turn on the TV, and it's not. And I'm trying to really instill more of a calming morning routine for them, because all of my morning routine, I realized from the time they were young, I do it before they woke up. And so my meditation was before they woke up, grounding outside was before they woke up, sitting outside in the sun with my matcha was all before I woke them up. And so they really never saw that. And so by the time they came downstairs, well, they see mom's on her phone already. She's answering emails, she's making breakfast. And so they're just sort of mimicking again what they've seen. And so I recognized that a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, okay. So this spring, this is what we've started to do. And this is what I'm slowly starting to introduce with them. I'm saving some of those habits and rituals of my own. I'm now going to start sharing them with them. Um, then I just kind of talked about it when I said phones, but then there's the tech detox moments. Spring again is a great time to do that. I know it's almost, I mean, I know that some clients have told me that aspect is harder than even, shifting their diets is tech, is kind of putting a limit on tech time, whether that's your phone, your laptop, TV, video games. They're meant to pull us in. They're designed to do that. And it's not just our kids who are addicted. We are too. I'm the first to admit it. There's times where I reach for my phone and why am I doing that? And I have to I have to physically take my phone and move it away from me so that I don't pick it up. And so this is, and again, when we're talking new season, renewing, re-energizing, it's a really good time to also add in the tech aspect to it, because we don't realize just how much it's exhausting us, right? And it's really weighing us down. It's putting a lot of pressure on us. We are probably the most informed of our kind ever, like humans. I think this is a time in the world where we know too much about what goes on in every aspect of the world. And I know that that's probably a bit of a controversial comment. Not everybody, or opinion, not everybody will agree with that. But I don't believe that our bodies or our minds were meant to know every single aspect of everything that happens across the world all of the time. I think that just adds to a lack of mindfulness, a lack of connection within, a lack of connection with our bodies, a lack of connection with the ones that we love, and a lack of focus. And that's why we tend to be doing 100 different things all of the time, and we're never really focusing in on one thing. And so I think that it's a really important aspect, and something that you can definitely do as a family. Some ways you could do that is you can decide to turn off the Wi-Fi at night. You can limit screen time. And actually that takes me into the last part of what I wanted to suggest in terms of cleansing as a family. And that's some simple daily practices, some challenges, if you will, that you can start together. So you could do a family lemon water challenge, for instance. You can do a greens at every meal goal, and you can keep score. You can have a point sheet, put it up in your dining room, make it fun, right? And take and put points to whoever chooses something green to put on their plate and actually eat that one green thing with their meal. You can do walks after dinner as a family, barefoot time, like I suggested earlier, and device-free morning challenge is one that I think I'm going to start implementing with my boys. Wish me luck, but I'm going to do it. You can also set short-term goals with cleansing. Okay, so when we're talking about cleansing, we have the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, which is 30-day program, 60 days, 90 days. We know the longer you do it, the more beneficial it is, because our bodies didn't get overloaded with toxins overnight. We didn't just wake up one morning with all of the symptoms that we have, chronic symptoms or autoimmune conditions, chronic illnesses, all of those things. They didn't just happen overnight. It took a long time, often years, decades even. And so we cannot expect, quick results in terms of cleansing. We can't expect to reverse it all overnight either. So the longer we can, of course, implement the first and foremost, the ultimate lifestyle transformation, because I believe it's the best and most effective way to do it. But then any and all of these practices, these other ideas, these other practices that were suggested, the better. But you don't have to jump into it with that bigger goal in mind. If that seems too big for yourself and your family, that's okay. Start small. Maybe it's a 5-day cleansing challenge that you're going to do together. Maybe it's a 7-day challenge. And maybe there's like this big goal that you guys have for the 8th day. After the 7 days are up, we're going to do this as a family. We're going to go here. We're going to go to our favorite restaurant or whatever it is, just something to, say, hey, like we did this. And then you can, during that time, discuss how everybody felt and then decide based on that week, are there any of those practices that you want to continue? So it's about baby steps always. It's always going to be your most effective way to do it. And so with that, I think I just wanted to, if we can pull up, this was a sample checklist that I put together. Because another thing that I often recommend when I'm coaching families and recommending a family cleanse is to put out a mission statement as a family. And perhaps you want to, just like our pledge, our Million Mom Movement pledge, you can put it in the kitchen where you're going to see it most, or like I said, your dining room or your family room. And, the mission itself, the mission statement is just basically why you're deciding to do this as a family and what you hope to achieve. And so in addition to that, an initial spring renewal starter checklist can also be helpful. So you can put on that checklist. I put 6 things, which I can't read, but it's okay. I'm going to pull that from my phone. I can't see it on the screen. Sorry, I'm just pulling it for myself. Yeah, so I chose to put 6 things here on the list for starters. So I have hydrate first. So start the day with clean filtered water and minerals, lemon optional. Second on this list, I put add 1 healing food a day. So think greens, berries, seeds, fermented foods, and a superfood shake. Number 3, I put move daily. So walk, dance, jump, stretch, run. Just get your body moving and flowing however you can. And then I put freshen one area weekly. So either declutter one space or swap one product for a cleaner choice. Then I put ground outside, barefoot in the grass for 10 minutes and or 10 minutes of early sun. And last but not least, breathe and connect. Take a moment together to pause, to breathe, and to feel gratitude. And so this is just an example of what you can choose to put together. If you would like this exact checklist, we can put a link to it, I think, right, Naiva? I guess when we would put out our replay, or we can offer it with the replay, I'm sure, or unless
Yeah, we can post
our
it in the Million Mom Movement official group
Yeah,
with everything.
perfect. Okay, so we'll do that. So that's it. So you can just like go right ahead and snag that one and print it out and put it on your fridge or again anywhere in the house that everyone will see it and can weigh in. Or you can create one together as a family and say, what do we want? Depending on how many people in your family, you can each choose one point, to start with, and take it from there. And so that is the end of our detoxing part of the presentation. But now I'm going to pass it over to Naeva because we also thought it was really important, considering that we just passed and celebrated Earth Day. We wanted to touch on that a little bit, especially with Purium's website. And so I'm going to pass the mic over to Naeva.
Thank you so much, Sherry, for all the knowledge and wisdom that you share. And it is so true that, when we do it as a family, it's so much better. And including our kids in our morning routine is something that's really important too, because like you said, they don't always get to see what we do first thing in the morning if we're doing it when they're still sleeping. And so as they're getting a little bit older, it's great to just pivot and be able to include them into that routine. So I loved everything that you shared and great tips. Well, I want to share this new landing page that we have. It's our environmental promise. And this was a lot of what got talked about on Earth Day, but we wanted to do a little recap here because there is so much to talk about for how far Purium has come over the past 30 years. So many years ago, Dave set out to create a company that would transform both people and the planet. He's a co-founder of Purium along with Amy Venner. And so over 20 years ago, they started this company with the clear mission to help people transform their health while having minimal
if not positive impact on the planet. We may have begun with just a handful of products, but every single one they've created since has been rooted in the original vision and unwavering commitment to their standards. And so this is something that we can really stand by, knowing that we're fueling our families with the very best nutrition. And as we're going out there and sharing it with our community, we're really, optimizing our health and the health of the planet, because since going plastic free in 2023, we have been able to save a lot of plastic from the landfills. So we have the most efficient delivery system and the highest quality nutrition in history. So it's really shaping a sustainable tomorrow. The impact of human activity on the environment may be profound, but the future remains ours to shape. So since it was founded, Purium has worked hard to regenerate the environment, and it's one of their top commitments. So it's something that we're really proud to be able to be here and share with you all. The commitment for sustainability is woven in every step of the business, from the soil that the food's grown in all the way till your doorstep. So I just want to do a quick recap of this website. We'll be posting it in Million Mom Movement Official, where you can grab the link and you can, read it on your own. You can share it with your community. You can share it with the people that you love and want to share more information with. But first and foremost, it starts with our soils. Where is our food grown? So much of our soils are depleted, and therefore the food that we're buying at the grocery store no longer has the same nutritional value as it had 100 years ago. So, organic and regenerative farming practices help preserve biodiversity, enhance soil health, and reduce carbon emissions compared to conventional farming that can also contain contaminants and herbicides. So this is something we're really proud of. Why is that important? Well, over the past 50 to 60 years, there has been a consistent decline in key nutrients in fruits and vegetables. On average, regeneratively grown vegetables had 21% more nutrients than USDA averages, according to a study by the Bionutrient Food Association. Also, glyphosate, the active ingredient in many widely used herbicides, poses a serious threat to both human health and the environment. It has been detected in a significant portion of food and beverages products in our store shelves. So it's something very important that we often share about. But before I go more into that, I want to show you these different tabs that we have. The preservation and transportation of our food is so it helps so much with our carbon footprint, because everything is dehydrated at low temperatures. The dehydration helps to preserve the nutrients in our organic superfoods by gently dehydrating them. We lock in the maximum nutritional value and reduce waste of our products, right? Of the green or freshly harvested product, because we're able to use, even I know some of us are able to get like the ugly food boxes or whatever they're called from the farms, where it's like not the prettiest produce, but you can get it at a discounted price. Well, with Purium, we never have those ugly boxes of food, because they can use everything. Everything gets dehydrated at low heat and then powdered, and then that way all of it can get used, and there's very minimal waste. That also minimizes the energy use that it takes to carry our products from one place to another. And Dave went over that really well on the call on Tuesday, as well as yesterday. So if you didn't get to listen to that, you can go listen to the replays. But this really helps the minimal processing, and then the lightweight product and the refrigeration free storage really helps minimize our carbon footprint. So why is this so important? Well, the average grocery store emits 1,900 tons of carbon dioxide annually from electricity and natural gas use, equivalent to emissions from 360 cars. And transporting fruits and vegetables creates nearly twice as much pollution as growing them. Our delivery method is so much more efficient and better for the planet than the way grocery stores get their food. So not only is it more nutrient dense, but we're also delivering it in a more efficient way to you as well, where we don't have as much carbon footprint. So the quality assurance and testing, this is one of the things that I really love about Purium, is that so many of us are going to the grocery store and we're reading labels and trying to find the best foods to feed our families. And although we're doing our own due diligence, sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating when our kids like a certain thing, and then we read the labels and we're like, well, it doesn't have the best ingredients, or it has food colorings and preservatives and, additives and all these other things that are not so good for our health. And so something that I love about Purium is that It's somewhere we can shop and we know that everything is going to be pure and wholesome and nutrient dense. So at Purium, we believe that quality is not just a standard. It's our mission, our passion, and the very foundation of who we are. Delivered from the words pure and premium, the name Purium embodies the unwavering commitment to providing the highest quality superfoods that nourish the body and transform lives. So why is this so important? Well, pure ingredients, carefully selected for their purity, their potency, and the purpose, from organic, non-GMO, and sustainable sources. Also, clean manufacturing, produced in certified facilities with the highest standards for cleanliness and efficiency, excuse me. There's no compromise, free from artificial additives, fillers, or synthetic ingredients. We know that everything is pure and premium. And then the rigorous testing that they do. Did you know that Purium tests each ingredient up to 36 times? Like if you go anywhere else, things are barely even tested once or twice in most standards of things that go to the store. So these rigorous testings are really extensive testings for potency, purity, and consistency in every batch, making sure that when something is, an organic product that is grown in regenerative soil, if ever we were to receive something that wasn't grown in regenerative soil or wasn't organic to our standards, we would know right away because we have several testings along the line before it gets to your doorstep. And then, of course, our plastic-free packaging, thoughtfully designed to eliminate plastic waste and ensure our products never contribute to the microplastic contamination in our food. How many of us, maybe drop it too in the comments if you've ever bought a protein shake that comes in a plastic package, right? I know there's other things besides protein shakes as well, but there are so many things that come in plastic packaging, and we have to wonder how much microplastics are getting into those sources of foods or things that we are consuming, and how much of that's getting into our body. And so it is really important that we do this family group detox, and because even our kids are eating things out of, maybe their granola bars at school or drinks that they're having, their little cardboard box drinks or plastic bottle drinks, right? So this is really important that we let our body rest and get rid of some of these toxins. So the packaging and the shelf life is really important. I'm not going to go into that a whole bunch. You can read this on your own. But the reason it's so important is the dietary supplement industry significantly contributes to plastic waste with approximately 1.8 billion plastic supplement bottles sold annually in the US alone. So just imagine, we're each consuming 5 or 6 Purium products per month, and we used to be in plastic packaging. Thank goodness we've transitioned to plastic-free packaging that's now compostable in our compost, or you can put it in the trash and it composts on its own. So, we've really made a significant change. And our Terra pouches have saved over 300,000 pounds and counting of plastic from entering oceans and landfills. So that's something that's really important and something that I really love. So thank you for being a part of the community that's part of the solution. So now I'm going to go back to, the crisis with glyphosate, because glyphosate is such a huge issue and it's in so much of our food. So our gut microbiomes and gut linings are being compromised by a toxic cancer-inducing herbicide known as glyphosate. This preventable, prevalent weed killer is found in 75% of our food and 95% of the beer and wine that's found in grocery stores. And it primarily affects crops with genetically modified seeds. Those seeds were created to withstand this chemical. So it's also used as a desiccant on other crops like wheat, oats, and barley, and so many others. And the plants absorb these chemicals into their cells, making it ineffective to remove them by washing or cooking those foods. So an alarming 95% of Americans carry this chemical within our bodies. And in 2017, the state of California confirmed that glyphosate causes cancer and birth defects, and substantially subsequently added it to the Proposition 65 list. So our gut is often referred to as our second brain and plays a crucial role in the nutrient absorption, hormone production, and immune response. So it's really important that we get this toxic chemical out of our bodies as quickly as possible. And we have a solution. So the solution comes in the ultimate lifestyle transformation that Sherry mentioned. That is a really great way to get started. We also have some other options. We have the Epigenius family, which is a great chocolate shake for kids to get started with. It's kind of like an all-in-one. It's got your protein, fruits, vegetables, and gut health all combined into one delicious chocolate shake. So it has this Biomedic proprietary blend within the Epigenius family shake. So Biomedic offers a proven solution. It has demonstrated the ability to remove glyphosate and promote a healthy gut, both safely and effectively. And the proven results from the preclinical trial that was done was that it can reduce glyphosate by 74% in just those first 6 weeks. It can also reduce the C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker in your body, in those first 6 weeks as well. So both of those together is going to create significant change in your body and moving you into a healthier state, because if your gut is compromised, then so many other things are compromised. Think memory, digestion, all the things that have to do with your gut, your serotonin, your happy hormones, right? Your sleep, your being bloated, having, hard time losing weight, being irritable. The list goes on and on and on, the side effects of having this toxin in your body, as well as the fact that it causes cancer. And then it has a 35% increase in intestinal integrity. So it actually helps to rebuild your gut microvilli so that you can absorb the nutrients you're putting into your body that much better. So this is really important, especially if you are choosing to purchase organic food or flood your body with the nutrients from Purium, from the other products that we provide. This will help you to actually absorb those nutrients you're putting into your body, making them even more effective. So you can discover the hidden dangers of glyphosate and how Biomedic can help remove toxins while supporting a healthy gut. You can learn more in Dave Sandoval's book that he has, The Toxin That Came to Dinner. And if you want that book, you can message the person that invited you to this call today, and they can send you a virtual copy. So you can just read it on your phone or your tablet or however you like to read it. You can print it out if you want to. It's a really easy read, and it has so much great information. And so this page goes on. We have some more great information on here, but the highlight here was that I really wanted to share is how much plastic we've saved in just the past 2+ years since we started going plastic free with the Terra pouches. And we have been able to save over 300,000 pounds of plastic from environmental contamination. So thanks to Purium's compostable packaging, known as the Terra Pouch, we have nearly eliminated our one-use plastic tubs and bottles. And that's 6 million plastic bottles or 27 million plastic bags, is the equivalent of what we've saved so far in this short amount of time. So by becoming a part of this movement, you're actually becoming a part of the solution. And there is a little timeline here of how we've made this transition over time into the plastic-free packaging. It took time. This plastic-free packaging is made out of hemp and bamboo and tree resin and biodegrades in about 2 months. And so it really does save the environment so much from the plastic pollution that's out there. So you can be the change with us, one meal at a time, with, including your family in this as well. Your choices matter. You can lower your carbon footprint with the Purium Lifestyle subscription. It's super simple and sustainable way to nourish yourself, your body, your family, and the planet. So you can take your impact even further by sharing this mission. If you decide that you love what we're sharing here and you also want to make a difference in your community, then you can get back to the person that invited you here and they can share a little bit more with you about how you can become part of the solution along with us. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Sherry, if there's anything else that you'd like to share on this topic before we close out.
Mhm. That was awesome. No, actually, I think that we are complete. And so we're 12 minutes ahead of schedule. So maybe we can open up to one or two questions. If anybody had any question or comments based on anything that we discussed, then that would be a great time. You could just raise your hand. That's okay too. If there's not any questions, I mean, we could wrap up a little early. Um, Naiva, so I guess I'm passing it back to you.
Wonderful. Well, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you being here. Each and every one of you makes the Million Mom movement. Without you, we wouldn't have this movement. So we really appreciate you taking time out of your day to be here. Please join us every Thursday for our presentations here through the Million Mom movement and just helping us move this movement forward. So we'd love to invite you, if this is your very first presentation that you're attending or watching the replay, please reach back out to the person that invited you here so they can share additional information or answer any questions about anything that we've shared here today. We'd also like to invite you to like our Facebook page, Million Mom Movement, and join our community Facebook group, Million Mom Movement Official. The group is where I'll post the replay along with any links that we shared here today. So we'd love to invite you to come join us in that group. And that group is really our community group. So please share your stories there, share your inspiration, repost some of your stories in there or things that you feel like would inspire the community. Please don't share your gift card codes within our Million Mom Movement official group, so that way it stays fair to everybody. Please follow us on Instagram. This is where you can tag us on your stories and your posts at Million Mom Movement on Instagram. And I love to repost you into our stories and into our feed. So if you want to get featured there, please make sure and tag us, hashtag us so that we can find your posts. And last but not least, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can have access to this replay and over 300 other replays from the past 5+ years of these incredible presentations. And so now I would love to invite you to our future Thursday presentations. Next Thursday is going to be May 1st. And so it's going to be Purium's monthly kickoff call. So our Million Mom Movement presentation schedule is going to be slightly different in May. Since we have it like every first, second, third, and fourth Thursday is a certain topic. So it's going to be pivoted to, the next Thursday, since the first one will be our kickoff call. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. Please join us for our monthly kickoff call next Thursday. And then the second Thursday, we will be talking about fertility through our women's health presentations. Third Thursday will be Millionaires in the Making, really talking about, Mother's Day and helping moms in this time to be able to create a financial impact for our families, which is something that so many people and moms and dads alike have been able to do for our families. And then our fourth Thursday will be our autism presentation, Blooming Together. And the fifth Thursday, we are going to have a 5-year reunion with the original Million Mom Movement Council. So please join us for these presentations. Please go ahead and share this far and wide. Invite your people, your community, your family members, your team members to these presentations, because this really is a call that's open to the community and where we're really trying to bring the education and the resources to make it easier for you to share this information with others. So thank you all for joining us here today. Sherry, any last words before we close out?
Well, I wish everyone a very happy spring cleansing season. And thanks for joining us tonight.